No, don't do this. This is setting up the death. All right, we are calling all Gundam Seed pilots. Are you ready to double your deployment? Join us on Patreon and get double episodes dropped right away. Once we reach 30 patrons, we'll bring double episodes to YouTube for everybody to experience. So fuel your Gundam addiction on Patreon. So let's build this community together, join Patreon, and get those double episodes of Gundam Seed.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone-Faced Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Justin, and we are back with another episode of Gundam Seed. First off though, we got a couple of comments. First is Lev Freedom from the Patreon, episode Fateful Encounter. I'm completely sure that this opening didn't change or add new details, but it might happen in other openings of Gundam Seed. I don't know if you're focusing or confused. Your face can read both ways.
Both. No, focusing.
Yeah, if you don't recall, we said, oh, I think those are new elements in the opening last time.
No, I'm fully aware, and we were questioning it based off, like, placement and different people.
Well, I was questioning it based on bad memory. So, I've said that this is not my favorite opening from Gundam Seed, and there's only two openings, so... next up is Mr. Fricky0 from Patreon, the episode The Sea Dyed Red. About the life-sized Gundams, there is only two active now, RX-0 Unicorn Gundam in Gundam Base Tokyo, and RX-93FF New Gundam in Mitsui Shopping Park Lalaport Fukuoka Forest Park. The moving RX-78-2 Gundam got closed with Gundam Factory Yokohama in March 31st, 2024.
That's a rough closing then.
I mean, it was recent, so... but that's our comments. So how about you go ahead and let us know what happened last time.
Last time, I believe the episode was A Sea Dyed Red. And I think was an allusion to how many were going to be murdered in the water. Because apparently the strike can also fight really well underwater, the lack of mobility in said environment. However, aside from the fighting, was last episode the one where Kigali and Kira started to get closer? But then Flay basically was like, cool, let me come out in short shorts and a small top and distract you.
Kigali hugged him and told him it would be alright. And then while they're having a conversation, Flay sees them through the open thing, takes off, starts stripping down, and makes herself look like a... Well, you know what I would say.
Yep. Yeah. The next time on of the previous episode was actually the 10 seconds of this episode. So it was basically the next on of conflict between Kigali and Athrin, where she shot him, but we were left with just that. Because they were both brought down.
Yeah, it was the last 5 seconds of the episode.
Yep, so it really was next time on Gundam.
Alright. Well, I actually forgot a comment here, so I'm just gonna go back real quick.
Before you get into that, I think they also talked about Berserkers.
Well, that's been a
reoccurring
thing. They didn't talk about it this episode. That was actually a flashback to a previous episode. So you might recall, it's Waltfield talking about Berserkers. And Waltfield, as we know, is dead. So that was a flashback to a previous thing because he's been thinking about himself in a concept as a Berserker. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's Waltfield tells him about being a Berserker that he might be a berserker or something like that. And then he asks LaFlaga what a berserker is. And I think the flashback last episode was him remembering LaFlaga defining what a berserker was. There might have been also a
Yeah,
flashback to
something like
Waltfield
that.
calling him a berserker or something as well.
I just remember it being mentioned, but I don't know more.
Well, that was the two things. So,
Yeah.
he's dwelling on it the same way as when he was crying in bed, repeating the word traitor.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. The missed comment, Log Hey Long, from the episode The Scar of Space, says, not in anime. Whale is a extraterrestrial fossil discovered by the first technical coordinator who views himself as an innovate. But I feel like making a joke while waiting for you guys to get past the Universal Century rehashes. If you get it, you get it. Blame the environmentalists in Seed.
1, thank you for the education. Number 2, I like the joke.
I mean, ironic, well, because they're commenting on the episode 7, The Scar of Space, about the first technical coordinator who views himself as an innovate, a guy we would not know until like episode 16 anyway. So, you remember George? Alright. Anyway, do I have a... There it is. I will drop the link for the board here
Hell yeah.
and bring it up on the window here. It is not really much to add because literally the people that died were already dead. The new guy is also dead, so
Yep.
literally just added a graveyard to the board. Because that's it.
We're getting a
Marco.
whole bunch of setup for Martin DaCosta to come back and be vengeful. I'm just saying.
Actually, I don't think so. But yeah, that is the only thing I've added to the board, so enjoy that brief aside for nothing. And also, I guess my first Theta's thought here. We'll cover why DaCosta ain't coming back, in my opinion.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so figuring out the path the crew is taking. We know the Archangel's ultimate destination is the Alaska base. We know they were somewhere in the Chad, Libya, Egypt, Sudan region during the last few episodes with Waltfield. They discussed their two possibilities as going northwest and crossing through Gibraltar, where they knew a Zaft base was, or going northeast, where Waltfield and the Lesseps was. Since Waltfield drove the Lesseps out and attacked the Archangel, we really had no idea which direction they were heading. I could have sworn I heard them say northwest, but I'm often wrong. In episode 21, they say they hit the Red Sea, so clearly they went northeast. I guess DaCosta and the damaged Lesseps just didn't cross their path again on the way. After that, Egyptian Rambo says that Zaft has the least presence in the ocean, which is why they are taking that route then to Alaska.
That sounds about correct.
So the DaCosta connection here is one that DaCosta didn't and the Lesseps didn't cross their path again. I guess also to zoom in here real quick, the Lesseps is also a ground-based vehicle, and they're in the middle of the ocean.
So I don't think that DaCosta is going to. I think DaCosta is going to be the case where somebody from Zaft takes DaCosta and trains them to be a problem later, if it does happen.
I mean, he's also the ranking member left in charge of the region. So you really can't like abandon the territory.
Yeah, but they can have people switch posts.
Right, but I would then have to imagine who fucking cares? Right? Not like to your point, I mean to the region.
Yep.
Zaft are a bunch of space-bound
Absolutely.
people who hate coming down to Earth in gravity well. who from Zaft is going to want to replace?
I do not know. I think if it does, it'll be an unnamed person that we never meet.
I don't know. It seems to me that DaCosta is just going the same way as all the other people we've left behind so far.
It's very much possible. That's just my hope. I do not think I'm correct. That's just
I don't know why you're putting so much weight on DaCosta. He he didn't do anything.
yeah. That's why I want him to do something.
I just mean I can see it for like other characters who like did stuff, like maybe looking over here, like Sahib coming back, or maybe even Al Jahari being a bad guy. You know, the weapons dealer guy comes back somewhere else because he's got like a worldwide weapons shipment thing. He did
That's
something.
the obvious choice, though.
Well, I mean, he did something, and he kind of was like a little nefarious while he was doing it. Versus DaCosta, who was just like, "What's the orders, boss?" You know, it wasn't really anything there.
It's true. It's true.
Whatever Bad Girl was up to with that blushing have fun a couple of episodes back, she's clearly changing her tune about Kira. Episode 21, she got on Murdoch for calling Kira Kid and saying that he shouldn't refer to a superior officer that way. This implies that Kira is an officer and higher ranked than a petty officer, as Murdoch is a petty officer first class.
You would have to be based off the fact that he's the guy who flies the Gundam.
Doesn't mean anything. I mean, he
But
enlisted, sort of, or he was enlisted so that they could backtrace their non-involvement in putting kids in harm's way, but they didn't have to give him any rank at all.
I understand that, but from the perspective of not even authority on the ship, but importance for survival, it makes sense that he is above a petty officer.
I don't know how that's important for survival.
Because if a decision has to be made to leave, it is more likely to trust the person who understands how to use the Gundam versus somebody who's been there and is just trying to go with the situation. Like, it's very clear that there's some Kira that everybody sees that has to be taken into account.
I understand what you're saying, that the guy who's in charge of the machine should have the authority to command it. At the same time, they've never treated him that way. Bad Girl or Ramius always command him when to leave, when not to leave. And I don't see, even LaFlaga outranks even him if Kira's an officer. And LaFlaga is most often in the cargo bay anyway, because he's also like the fighter pilot guy, and his fighter jet thing is right there next to the Gundam.
Correct, but I think that LaFlaga should outrank him based off military experience and what is there.
Well, LaFlaga is, just a reminder, the same rank as Ramius. They're both the same rank. LaFlaga didn't want command of the ship, which defaulted it then to Ramius. They're the two highest ranking officers, is what I'm indicating.
To me, I'm not. If I was more invested in the actual ranking system, I'd look up what the ranks were, but I'm not going to.
Well, that's why I indicated that he is above petty officer, because Murdoch is petty officer first class, which is the highest rank of petty officer you can get, which indicates that whatever he's ranked, Bad Girl is implying that he is higher than that, which means petty officer and below, he is above. I'm not going to guess what he actually is ranked. That's why I only indicated what he's not.
Okay, so that still makes sense, because I just looked up the definition of petty officer, specifically like in the Navy, and it's petty officer is just above like a sailor. Or a seaman, which would effectively be a sailor.
Again, though, I don't see why you would give him a rank above anybody else.
Because like there's even like a rank A petty officer, I'm gonna guess would be like the equivalent of a chief petty officer, which would just be the petty officer who's in charge of the petty officers, which seems like it's more day-to-day stuff versus actual combat.
I'm already with you on before about not diving into the ranks and everything because
Yeah.
I know as much as anybody else who's had no time on the surface. In fact, probably know less because a lot of other people probably have watched a lot of military sci-fi and have osmosed the rank system into their minds, whereas I have not, even though I have watched a number of these things. Oh, 86. I went through so much rank structure when watching the anime 86, but once I was done, right out of my head. So
All
my
right, in that
point,
case, yeah.
my point being though, is I don't see where giving this kid a rank above anybody else serves any benefit. Also, the fact he's just as likely as to launch the thing on his own anyway, without authority. It doesn't add anything to him. It takes away from everybody else, is what it does.
I think it negates the consequence on him to some degree if he launches without
I would argue
being
that it
given
actually.
orders.
I would argue that it gives more consequence. Higher up the food chain you are, the more responsible you are for endangering people beneath you. Putting him at the bottom of the chain would give him less consequence. Because you could always say,
Fair enough.
you could always defend him with, I told him to do that, or that sort of thing. The higher up, the more people are responsible for you or to serve under you. All those deck crews, Murdoch included, are kind of under your responsibility now. If you launch, Murdoch, why didn't you fucking stop him? He
Got it.
ordered me not
No,
to, or whatever.
I think I don't have enough information yet to
Yeah, so
actually know if I agree.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I would say, yeah, it's a one-off like sentence thing. Like very beginning of the episode, he calls him kid because he's been calling him kid this whole fucking time, and that's when she just throws out, "You shouldn't disrespect your superior officer that way." And it's like, what? Did it happen off screen? When did this happen? All
Hell
right.
yeah.
Random thought, but I wonder if Kigali is a natural born from coordinators, kind of the opposite of what Kira is. Maybe that's why she's off
Ooh.
running around by herself, if my theory is right from about her from episode 1.
I like that theory.
I guess I should preface this so you know that the first time I watched what was it, the first 16 episodes with Griff, however many it was, I forget the exact number, I had the same theory about Lacus. This has kind of been my pet theory that I've thrown around now at 2 different women on the show. I think I said, maybe Lacus is a natural from the coordinator side. Nope, she's a coordinator. I was wrong. Now I'm doing it for
I
Kigali.
I think that's actually not that bad of a theory.
Let's see. According to Kira, coordinators don't get special abilities just because they are coordinators. That they have to train and practice like everyone else. Except that normal people don't have seed power that like he does. Also, he follows up with the fact that coordinators don't catch diseases, and that their genes are altered from before birth to alter their abilities and physical features. You know, those special ones that only coordinators have.
Yeah, we don't get superpowers except for this, and this.
Yeah. Coordinators don't get special abilities except for these following abilities that I will now list off to you.
Yep.
Well, we met Nicole's whole family, got to see his friendship with Athron, and he genuinely seems happy to be visiting Earth for the first time. So clearly he's going to die.
Yep.
Although I would point out something I noticed while I was taking my notes is that every time um, Nicole's dad is on screen, he looks like off to the side a little bit and unhappy. So, dude might know something's coming.
It's possible.
The discussion last time about zaft going after Panama was about them targeting Earth Force spaceports, specifically the last one they have left. They also listed Kaohsiung and Victoria as spaceport locations they used to have but lost to zaft. So that battle at Kaohsiung that we heard about in the first episode was also Earth Force losing a spaceport.
So in that case, do you think we might end up detouring to Panama to stop the inability to leave the planet in the future?
Well, you remember we have Operation Spitbreak coming up from Zaft's side, which may be the Panama operation.
It may be.
And what's a weird name for, taking out a spaceport? But it makes more sense if it was Split Break, like I thought it was before, but it's actually Spit Break, but we couldn't tell because of the weird subtitle font that we had going on. Because Split Break would be splitting Earth Force's space from Earth Force's Earth. However, that doesn't even make much sense because we've seen they have ships that can go through the atmosphere. But anyway, there was a scene, I can't remember if it was last episode or the episode before last, where they're just talking about their path through the Indian Ocean, and we can see like a map. And it kind of shows the island I think that Kigali and Atherin crashed into. And apparently they kind of like go around it. So I think their current plan is Indian Ocean. I can't remember the sea, the sea that most Chinese trade port ships go through.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. I just can't think of the name.
Yeah, I think their plan is kind of to hug the Chinese coast, as then transition up across the Pacific to Alaska. My
Okay.
interpretation of the path that I saw, but everything changes all the time. Last thought here. I'm confused as to the strike's ability in atmosphere and water. I could have sworn they said it couldn't fly, but then when it gets catapult launched in the air, they turn on the jets and it seems to maneuver around in the sky just fine. The same thing for water. The pilot flying Atherin and the Aegis mentions that the Gundam will just sink. I'd imagine that the strike would be no different, that dropping into the Indian Ocean would be some scary shit. But just like the aerial example, it seems to just appear back on the Archangel later with no explanation.
I've just accepted that the strike can fight wherever. The strike can fight in a volcano if it wants. From what I've seen, yeah.
Well, like I said, the other Gundams, which are all kind of based on the same model, two of their pilots, or no, Atherin says the Aegis. I don't. My note there got all messed up. I don't know what the pilot flying Atherin fucking means. No, it's flying Atherin. Oh, sorry. I now remember. This is from when Atherin is being escorted by himself in the cargo plane with the
Got
Aegis
it.
in the path. So the pilot flying Atherin means. So this is where grammar comes into play when you're writing fucking sentences out. The pilot flying Atherin, meaning the pilot of the cargo ship, says that the Gundam will just sink in the ocean if he were to drop it over the water. So, yeah, I mean, I had further note on this one, specifically the average depth of the Indian Ocean vis-a-vis the PSI of water pressure at that average depth, which is, by the way, enough to bend steel.
Yep.
Various forms of steel, basically all of them. It's certainly deeper than the deepest military submarine has gone. So, Kira just jumping in and then having no way to ever come back. Did you ever watch The Abyss?
No, but I'm aware of it.
Not a lot of movie references I get in play with you, is there?
No.
Anyway, scene from the abyss. Dude's falling backwards in his like little submersible thing down the ravine of the abyss, well past the safety margins of any ever designed craft, and just watching the glass thing around him crack under the pressure, knowing that he's about to get imploded in any minute. In the darkness of the depths. Scary shit.
Yeah, that would be especially in that mobile suit.
A mobile suit that we've been informed should just sink, because it can't fly in the atmosphere, which should mean that it has no ability to fly underwater. But nope, next scene, it's just back on the Archangel. We did something. Even though Zaft is the only one that has underwater mechs.
There might be an argument for the fact that Kira's been able to adjust the mobile suit so quickly.
He has been adjusting its programming, because we've always seen him on the inside doing programming shit. I don't know how that adds hardware capability. Unless you're going to make the Pluto argument that we just transfer abilities from one machine to another.
No, but I think it might help it to some degree if you adjust, like fine tune to make it so you don't instantly die. But I don't think it does.
So you're a Kira apologist, is what you are.
No, I think Kira should stop it. However, I think if there is an explanation, that's what it is.
Alright, I guess. I mean, I don't agree with you, but I understand that you're reaching out for anything, and that's the only thing that's really there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, any other thoughts before we get into it?
No.
Alright, well, that said, I say we go ahead and get on into it.
Alright, let's do it.
Yeah, you remember Marco? History won't.
Yeah. Hey, eventually someone will find the plane and be like, hey.
Oh no, the pilot said he'd be fine bailing out later. He was responsible for getting Atherin and the Aegis out. Hey, remember the next time on 2 episodes ago?
Yeah. This might result in Atherin getting captured.
I mean, I guess he doesn't really have any backup unless the pilot of the transport plane managed to signal distress, in which case we know Atherin's entire team might not be that far away, in which case we have 4 Gundams on their way to pick him up.
That's not plot convenient, though, because if we have 4 Gundams show up... Actually, it is, because then the strike can take out our boy with green hair.
Well, I mean, there's what? That's all the Gundams again. All the Gundams in one spot. So it would also give Atherin the opening to get back into the Aegis.
Yeah.
And then it's everybody fighting all on one island. With apparently only one of them has the ability to fly for some reason.
And if that happens, Kira could bust his nut and then win.
Yeah, I think we said it too many times. It's starting to lose its funny nature.
Little bit.
I guess until we start saying it so much again, it's going to circle back around and be funny again. I think we might be just a little bit burnt down on the sexual metaphor of whatever the fuck he's doing in the scene.
Yeah. We'll find a new way to say it.
Of course there's a great amount of disturbance. There's neutron chambers in the Earth's surface that we keep kind of forgetting exist. I'm sorry, I'm such a pacifist. I did not even understand that.
撃墜されたとは限らないのよ。日没までの時間は
約1時間です。
捜索されるおつもりですか？ここはザフトの勢力圏で。上空からはもう辛いわね。簡単な整備と補給が済んだらストライクに海中から探してもらうしかないわ。艦長、報告にでも記録にでも好きに書きなさい。放っておけないわ、あの子。
Although arguably, if she crashed in the middle of the ocean, and you have to do an underwater search, I think at that point you're looking for a body.
Yeah. Especially if the height of the crash was less than ideal, which it seemed like it was.
Guess he doesn't recognize her. Kind of deflating my episode 1 theory. I mean, she also could have kicked the gun without staring at it.
Yep.
Kind of wanted him to do exactly what he did, but to pick up the gun.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. You made the wrong scream sound. You have to sound like a weird cry.
Why is
thing.
everyone confused that Kigali is a girl?
Oh no.
This is like the most insulting thing in her life.
Yeah.
I was more confused that she chose to scream out as though somebody was around to hear her.
お前、本当に地球軍の兵士か？認識表もないようだし、俺は戦場でああいう悲鳴は聞いたことがないぞ。悪かったな。
Yeah, usually it's harder to understand as human.
That there is some logic to that. They're like, what the fuck?
私を落としたのはそっちだろうが。所属部隊はなぜあんなところを短期で飛んでいた？私は軍人じゃない。所属部隊なんかないさ。こんなところ来たくて。お前、あの時ヘリオポリスを襲った奴らの一人か？私もあの時あそこにいた。お前たちがぶっ壊した。
Why would you even think that this was one of those people? I guess maybe because it's the Gundam. That's fair enough.
Which that could also lead to the theory that she knows more about it.
Well, she saw the Gundams when she was trying to escape. So,
Yeah.
any of the zaft people that were in a Gundam, I guess it just assumes that the people who stole the Gundam, that zaft would never have, like, reassigned to a better pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if Rao is an ace pilot, why didn't they give him a Gundam?
Yeah. I definitely think they would. So I get the thought process.
Because we know why Kira is the only pilot of the strike. There's no other coordinators in Earth Force, so nobody else is piloting this thing.
Yeah.
But we have no reason to suspect that the best of the best were the same people that stole the Gundams on Zaft's side.
さて、栄えある我が隊、初任務の内容を伝える。それはこれ以上ないというほど重大な隊長の捜索である。
Now, see what I said.
Yeah.
ま、輸送機が落っこっちまったんじゃしょうがないが、本部もいろいろと忙しいってことでね。 自分たちの隊長は自分たちで探せとさ。
やれやれ、なかなか幸先のいいスタートだね。
とは言ってももう日が落ちる。捜索は明日かな。
そんな。
イージスに乗ってるんだ。落ちたって言ったって。
No, don't do this. This is setting up the
落ちたっ
death.
てわけでもないし。
ま、そういうことだ。今日は宿舎
That's why we fell in Earth's atmosphere. Oh, like me and my companion here survived without notation about how we did it. Everybody else fucking died, and we stated the Gundams could not survive it. But we did, and ours did. I can't wait for the comment section to catch up with my harping on this one fact. I've only been doing it for 10 episodes. That's your fault.
Yeah, that's on you.
I mean, you were fine against the ground. You decided to try and stand up all of a sudden. Also, maybe don't lie back in chest-high water in the rain.
Oi, お前。何をやっている？
見てわかんないかよ。動けないんだよ。突っ立ってないで早く助けろよ。
威張って言える立場か？
いいから早くしろってば。
大丈夫か？
カニがそんなにおかしいかよ。
いや、失礼。あんまり経験がないんでね。こういうことは。
I'm not from
ランド
Earth.
にはカニはいないのか。
Yeah.
おい、どこへ行く？
ちょうどいいから洗うんだよ。砂だらけなんだから。
Well, she's implying that she doesn't know anything about plants, so
気持ちいい。
one strike against my theory.
Yep.
Unless it's just a ruse.
武器のないお前が暴れたところで大したことはない。
なんだと？
服の中に
You
も
had a
What he
gun.
said.
You had a gun and I kicked your ass.
本当だ。あ、
And then I tripped in water.
Yeah.
So, I'm an engaged man. Trap trying to seduce me.
You lifted up your shirt. I will trip now.
どこへ落ちたんだ？
ほら。電波状態がひどい。
It's coffee. I call it Waltfield Special.
電波の状態が悪いのはお前たちのせいじゃないか。
先に核攻撃を仕掛けたのは地球軍だ。ザフトのものでも食料は食料だ。
AKA, this is, yeah, it's a battlefield. Both sides are doing shit.
Well, no, he said the nuclear attack by Earth Force. That would be the Janus 7, Valentine's Day? That's what it was called.
Bloody Valentine.
There we go. I knew Valentine was in there somewhere. It's actually harder for me to remember Janus 7, so I'm trying to just say that all the time instead.
Mm-hmm.
私を縛っておかなくていいのかよ。隙を見てお前の銃を奪えば形勢は逆転だ。
え？
そうなったらお前バカみたいだからな。
Yeah, but I wouldn't care at that point. I'd be dead.
笑うんだよ。いや、懲りないやつだと思ってね。銃を奪おうとするなら殺すしかなくなる。だからよせよ。
I love the honesty. He's polite, but at the same time, it's just, yeah, go for the gun.
せっかく助かった命だろ。
ザフトに命の心配してもらうとは思わなかったな。
So how long do we have to cook your clothes before I can eat them?
俺たちだってあんなこと
There was a body in that.
なかったさ。モルゲンレーテが
I guess implying that not everybody got to the escape pods.
それだけ奪えればよかったはずだ。
I'm not surprised.
何を今さらどう言おうがコロニーを攻撃して壊したのは事実だろうが。
中立だと言っておきながら、オーブがヘリオポリスであんなものを作っていたのも事実だ。
Undeniable.
俺たちは
Yep.
プラントを守るために戦ってるんだ。あんなものを見逃すわけにはいかない。
それは地球だって同じだ。私たちだってお前たちが攻めてきて地球をめちゃくちゃにするから。
Smart shot.
俺の母は
You get a lot of that in like Hajime no Ippo show I mentioned before.
ただの農業プ
They
ラン
use
ト
fire in the eyes to denote
何の罪もない
fighting spirit.
一瞬のうちに死んだんだぞ。
Mhm.
子供まで。それで黙っていられるか。
私の友達だってたくさん死んだよ。お前たちの攻撃で。
Actually, that's when you chased them.
Yeah.
Literally nobody died from the attack that they initiated.
そう。ここでお前とそんな話をしても仕方がない。
I'm just gonna walk over here and steal your Gundam.
That's right. She's Mrs. Steal Your Gundam.
I mean, he left it open.
Indeed.
地球軍の新型機動兵器。お父様の裏切り者。
Hey, that thing that I keep referring to.
おい、寝ちゃう気かよ。
いや、
Oh, I wish that he had, and then he like sleep talk, go for the gun, and I'll kill you.
移動で。
Yep.
こいつ。
As a gun.
Look, yeah, 'cause he basically stripped the other one and threw it into the water, so it's the only gun there now.
Yeah.
ちゃんと休んだし。
何が大丈夫だ。休んだって言ったってアラートで1時間転がっていただけじゃないか。艦長に言われた時間も無視して戻ってこなかったくせに。
でも。
See what I tell you?
よしよし。
Rank has given him nothing. He's still just disobeying orders.
お前さ、
Yeah.
なんかいろいろおかしすぎ。
あと5時間もすれば日も昇る。そうすりゃ俺も出るから。俺も大概情けねえよ。
少佐。
やらせておいて言うのもなんだが、あまり。
I mean, I was talking shit to her moments before she crashed.
日
Yep.
が昇ればきっと見つかる。大丈夫だから。
Just send Rambo out to find her.
敵放っといて。
I don't think historically Rambo's good on the water. Quentin Tarantino shot there.
It's true.
ザフトに攻撃されてる。コロニーにモビルスーツが入ってきてるんだよ。
Oh, question mark. They'd want to let us know who said that.
Oh.
Clearly, I would assume it's her father, considering we just alluded to that.
It makes viable sense.
銃を奪おうとするなら殺すしかなくなる。
This is really like a Werble thing from Firen. You know, Ubel walks away and then where Rebel says, if you attack me, I'm gonna have no point but to kill you.
お前ごめんお前を撃つ気はないでもあれはまた地球を攻撃するんだろ作ったオーブが悪いってことは分かってるでも
Oh.
あれはあのモビルスーツは地球の人たちをたくさん殺すんだろ
なら撃てよ。その
Straight up.
聞いているのは俺だ。俺はザフトのパイロットだ。機体に手をかけさせるわけにはいかない。どうしてもやるというのなら、俺はお前を殺す。
Take the shot. Take the shot.
I mean, he's moving the goalposts. He's already
Yeah.
implying that he's not willing to kill her either. If you take the gun, I'll kill you. Now it's if you shoot me, I'll kill you.
私と君は敵同士だということだな。やっぱりどちらかが滅びなくてはならない。
Yeah, like it's very clear that he does not want to kill those that are unnecessary to kill.
How did it go off? She threw it. It literally went off in the air.
ごめん
どういうやつなんだよ、お前は。
いやだからあそれ今ので
大したことない。
手当てしなきゃ
Thank God I don't poison my knife.
Yeah.
私が
自分でできる。
やってやるってば
いいって。
いいからやらせろよこのまんまじゃ私仮の作りっぱなしじゃないか少しは返させろ
その前に服着てくれないか。もう乾いてると思う。
We've been cooking them all night.
Yes. I've seasoned them with paprika and garlic powder. Don't, no, they're setting up the boy for death so hard.
Well, no, those were from the Archangel.
That's what I mean, though, because they show him piloting, then they show the Archangel people going out.
Well, he was in the helicopter,
Hmm.
which implies he's still around the base, I would assume.
どうした
無線が回復した。
I mean, this kind of was an enemy mine situation, which I think I said was what might happen here.
救難信号捉えたぞ
So his radio's working, but he's called the wrong people.
こっちは救援が来る。他にも海から何か来るぞ。お前の期待のある方角だ。俺はこいつを隠さなきゃならない。できればこんなところで戦闘になりたくないからな。
私も機体のところへ戻るよどっか隠れて様子を見る
そうか。
I mean, thank God there wasn't like a mysterious third person on the island, because they keep leaving the cockpit open.
Yes.
お前、
Huh?
地球軍じゃないんだな。
The different reality, we're in the middle of the night. The mysterious third faction steals a Gundam.
Oh, is that where you're going? My joke was, this is one of those holdout islands where, like, a Japanese soldier from World War II has still been camping out thinking that the war is going on. Sneaks in, steals the Gundam. Somehow knows how advanced technology works.
Hey, either one is a great alternate reality.
I mean, sure, why not? Combine the two. The third faction is just one guy representing Imperial Japan in the future.
The third faction is multiple holdouts on different islands that somehow end up working together while never communicating.
It's like some sort of weird Akira future. Like, the zaft forces are on high alert. Sir, I don't know what's happening. We're being hailed by a logo. I don't know. It's a symbol of the rising sun. That can't be.
Meanwhile,
The Japanese Empire fell almost 100 years ago.
Meanwhile, they divert all their forces to stop it. All of a sudden, there's an attack on a different zaft base. How did this happen? Wait, it's the same symbol.
アークエンジェルを追い詰めるアスランの部隊。命令は撃破。再びまみえる友はすでに孫を肩なき敵軍の兵士。
As they were every other time.
のガンダムの猛攻についに声を上げるかがり。近海での戦闘をただ映像の中に見るオーブが動くその真意とは。次回機動戦士ガンダムシード。平和の国。
Oh, we gonna learn.
その海を駆け抜けろガンダム。
Sorry, I'm just remembering that title when I put it up on the schedule. My first thought was Kino's Journey, the Land of Peace.
Fair enough.
Also, the fact we see Kigali in a dress again, which must mean a flashback, because I don't think she's imagining Waltfield's dress. I don't think she kept Waltfield's dress. Maybe, but it seems more likely that she had a dress before in her flashback, and that's why she doesn't like wearing a dress now. Kind of associated properties. Also, that's a guy we never seen before, so I'm assuming that must be her dad. And that would associate it to the flashback. Also, the fact that the narrator said something about Orb. What Orb is really up to. Meaning that she's going to spill the beans about something, like whatever she meant in the first episode.
I think that is a very likely case. I think a lot of it rests too on how much information they actually give.
Well, I mean, they said Kigali finally talks, so even though we've seen it's going to be a combat episode because the 4 Gundams are now attacking, the idea being that it's also going to be an exposition episode. Because we also saw the 4 Gundam pilots together around a table, which implies either pre-planning before the attack or post-attack debrief.
I'm more veering towards post-attack debrief.
I mean, it's either Athrun goes immediately from being rescued to counterattack, or rescued, tell us what you know, let's go fight them. It could be either. One is more immediate and the other is more planned. You know, Kigali gets back, Kigali has a conversation leading into the backstory flashback. Athrun has a debrief. They're in the area. Now they know that the Archangel's in the area. Plan for attack, make the attack. Or, you know, LaFlaga picks up Kigali. They notice each other in the area and call for an immediate assault, in which case we're just going to bookend the episode on a backstory flashback thing.
I think I'd prefer the bookend on backstory flashback.
I don't myself, only because I'm not a big fan of the there they are, attack them. You know, that's not a very intelligent thing to do, especially when you're rescuing somebody, because you don't automatically know if your rescuee is an available combatant. Especially when you've already gone 4v1 against the strike and failed every time.
Yeah.
Well, anything else?
No, I think the thoughts were all got kind of said out loud in the episode.
That's the hope. Say all the thoughts out loud.
Ideally.
Well, how many times have I said it? Say the
Yeah.
obvious thing out loud so everyone knows you're thinking it. Alright, well, I guess with that said, once again, I have been Theta, this has been Justin, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?